Yes, Red Bull's an amazing brand.
Well, certainly there's the Red Bull example, and they're the poster child of content marketing these days.
I think from the very beginning, Red Bull was a storytelling brand. I spent 6 years at Red Bull. We were a marketing team, and actually, I guess most of the content activities came from the communications function within the marketing team. We used content as a tool to tell our stories and to show people the amazing things that we were doing and the great athletes we worked with. A lot of the things that we did at Red Bull were in the action sports realm, so they were super visual and spectacular, and it just made sense to capture that and share that with the world. Perhaps a little arrogantly, we felt that the mainstream media weren't particularly good at filming and photographing the kind of sports and things that we were involved in, so we took ownership of that. At Red Bull, we were always told to focus on the audience and what was important to them and what made them passionate about their scene, about their sport, about their favourite athletes. And really think about them as individuals and not really worry too much about how they all crossed over. So I think that sort of single-mindedness and focus on quite a few audiences was one of the things that put us ahead, that we were able to say, what would a BMXer think is awesome about this BMX event, rather than trying to think about what would a youth aged 16 to 22 think about this BMXer event. They target people through their passions, whether it's music or sport or culture. These areas have rules, they have stories, they have stars, and Red Bull pays a huge amount of respect to those scenes and those audiences, and they don't treat them like demographics, they treat them like the passionate people that they are, and they give them what they want. At Red Bull, we felt like we had an actual role to play and something that we could contribute to these scenes, and we were always looking for ways to help progress, create new things, help facilitate collaboration, and it felt really good to be adding something into these scenes rather than just taking out, and I think that was core to the way that people felt about us as a brand operating in these spaces.
Oh, it's beautiful, Mike, really is.
For a brand like Red Bull that had done so many big things before, Stratos was like on a whole new different level for the brand. Whilst the goal of the project wasn't marketing ROI. Actually, the goal of the project was to facilitate high altitude egress from spacecraft, believe it or not, and we wanted it to be the biggest thing in the world on that day. Two things that probably weren't that obvious from the outside was that we wanted to position it as a scientific project. The other thing that probably nobody noticed was it was meant to be a 6-month live project. Obviously, it took years to come together. So as a communications team, our challenge was, how do we keep this story interesting? So we actually treated it like a movie. We developed a story arc from launch to mission. We highlighted all the things that might keep people interested: risk, danger, the scientific and engineering qualities, and we worked out a plan to tell that story over a long period of time. When I started at Red Bull, there was a huge amount of scope and free range. We were, in each of the markets, absolutely entitled to do whatever we wanted to do, of course with a huge commitment to quality. As the Red Bull Media House took shape, the whole company began to professionalise its media operations, from legals and contracts and licensing through to production quality, frame rates and delivery. So there was a massive undertaking to get ready to become a global media company rather than a brand that was producing a lot of great content.